Hi, I am Farah Gawan, and my report is all about phylum Kinorhyncha, the mud dragon. A little bit of storytelling. Phylum Kinorhyncha is discovered by French naturalist um, Félix Dujardin in 1841. He was collecting marine invertebrates at Saint Malo on the north coast of Bretagne in France and eventually discovered a new species that was later on called as Echinoderys duhardini claparide in 1863. The word Kinorhyncha is from the Greek word kinema for motion and rhynchos for snout, meaning an animal with a movable snout. This species inhabit marine sediments from the intertidal zone to abyssal depths. This species is prevalent on a muddy places, that's why it was named as mud dragon, sands, seashore, and they also recorded the deepest record where the Kinorhyncha was found from 7,800 meters in the Atacama Trench of Chile. And this kind in Kinorhyncha has 270 described species to date. So as you can see, this is a microscopic photo, actual photo of um, Kinorhyncha. Yes. So let's proceed to the characteristics of this species. In body form, it was like a short worm-like, somewhat flattened body divided into 13 spiny segments. Um, Actually, in the book, it was stated there that it only has 11 segments or zonites. However, as I researched about it, I found out that when it was only a juvenile or kind of like baby Kinorhyncha, it has only 11 zonites, and if this species will hit adulthood, it will have 13 zonites. And that 13 zonites will be divided into three major parts, which is the head, neck, and trunk. The species, the Kinorhyncha, is limbless. It has no limbs at all. The head is completely retractable with retractile proboscis for burrowing around head is up to 7 rows of scallids. But the nomenclature of the different types of scallids like spinoscallids and trichoscallids. The body wall. Body wall covered by cuticles secreted by syncytial epidermis. This body wall is covered with spines, no cilia on the body, only spines. Epidermis with numerous mucous glands. Beneath the epidermis are several bands of longitudinal, circular, and diagonal muscles. Body cavity, it has body cavity pseudocoelom. Pseudocoelom is a fluid-filled body cavity lying inside the external body wall of the species that bathe the internal organs, including alimentary system and the reproductive system. The protrusible snout. Snout bears 9 outer oral styles and 20 inner oral styles in 3 rings, which become more visible in the protruded introvert or the neck. Is a small trapezoidal to triangular cuticular plates termed as placids, also of taxonomic importance. The trunk. It may be triangular, circular, or oval in cross-section, with the internal musculature pulling the ventral cuticular plates toward the interior, conferring upon the animal the aspect of having ventral depression. Cuticular rings. It is divided into 4 plates with the ventral or sternal and dorsal or tergal plates being the thickest. But some variation in the number of plates exists. There is cuticular flap that overlaps in segments 1 to 10. The cuticle of the terminal segments may end in sternal and tergospinous plate-like or truncates extensions. So this is a microscopic photo of the snout or the mouth cone of the Kinorhyncha. This might be the scallids. Yeah, yeah. I know. This is the oral styles. Yeah. And then this on the scallids. So this is the anatomical view of Kinorhyncha or the um, infernal anatomy of Kinorhyncha. So obviously this is the mouth, has oral styles. This is the scallid. This is the brain. The brain is like a collar shape. Yeah, it is underneath the mouth cone. So this is the placid, pharynx, esophagus, midgut, and then the anus. This is the 13 segments. Yeah. So let's proceed to the food habits. Rhinorhyncha are likely direct deposit feeders, consuming benthic diatoms and other organic material, including bacteria and other unicellular algae traits. Some species have ventricular rods, which may aid in filtering bacteria. Those that feed on diatoms may collect the algae on their head, scallids to be ingested later, or directly suck them in through the pharynx. The pharynx may be protruded from the mouth for this purpose by pharynx protractor muscles. In this species, the oral cells may break up the diatom's pustules or the sow balls. So this picture below is like the bird's. If we see it in the bird's eye view, the this is the pharynx looks like, or the shape of the pharynx. So it was stated in the book that it has Kinorhyncha has triradiate pharynx, which means it has three side three sides three-sided pharynx. This is how it looks when it is closed, it is partly open and fully opened. So how Kinorhyncha's body works. The mouth leads into a buccal cavity that is followed by sucking pharynx and esophagus, all of which are lined with cuticle. The esophagus is connected to a long, straight midgut which is made up of over 95% epithelial cells. Um, these are interlocked and presumptively absorb nutrients. The midgut leads to the short hindgut, also lined with cuticle, terminating in an anus on the last zonoid. Two pairs of salivary glands and one or more pairs of pancreatic glands connect to the esophagus and secrete digestive enzymes. Beyond the esophagus lies a midgut that combines the functions of stomach and intestine and lacks a cuticle, enabling it to absorb nutrients. The short hindgut is lined by cuticle and empties into an anus at the posterior end of the trunk. Rhinorhynchus excrete waste via a pair of protonephridia located in the 8th or the 9th trunk zonoids. Dorsolateral to the gut. These open through pores in the body cuticle may have ciliate cells and or microvilli. Gas diffusion takes place across body wall and circulates blood diffusion through the body cavity. So basically, this is how it works. The diatoms or other organic substance or material that serves as the food of the Kinorhyncha will enter the mouth cone of the Kinorhyncha and it will be sucked by pharynx. Um, it will proceed to the esophagus and to the midgut. In the midgut, it is where the salivary gland and pancreatic glands excrete digestive enzymes in order for it to be digested. And then it will proceed to the hindgut and then be terminated in the anus. How Gynorhynchus reproduce? Both males and females have paired gonads and short gonaducts. Males have two or three hollow spicules associated with their gonopores. When present, placement of these spicules varies from species to species. Yeah, so mating has only been observed in one species, which is the Pinophyschielensis. In this case, female position themselves so their ventral posterior ends face each other with the mucosal mass surrounding their posterior ends. Um, this is similar into humans when they mate. Like the private part of the male will secrete gametes directly to the private part of a female. So, Kynorhynchus are dioecious, but males and females are generally indistinguishable visually. It's assumed that they can reproduce year-round and there is some evidence that 3 to 6 eggs are released at a time. Little is known about rare egg production and early development in this group. Um, Only know is females provide yolk and egg case for their eggs. The larvae are free-living, but little else is known of their reproductive process. After having laid an egg, the female packs it into a protective envelope of a mud organic material. Further parental investment is unknown. Nervous system. These animals have simple nervous system with a series of 10 ganglia connected and arranged in a ring around the pharynx. The epithelium is highly innervated, which means it has nerves within it. It can sense. Okay. Scallops contain up 10 monociliary sensory cells, which are connected to an exterior distal pore. These are likely chemo and mechanoreceptive. All species in this phylum have species-specific patterns of sensory spots on their trunks, consisting of one or two pores surrounded by micropapillae. These sensory spots may have cilium. Microvillar eye spots may be located on the pharyngeal nerve ring, and some species have red pigmented, light-sensitive ocelli behind the mouth cone. Each sensory spot appears as a round to oval or droplet-like area with 1 to 3 pores and numerous cuticular micropapillae. A cilium may jut out a pore, an intracuticular conical to flask-shaped atrium, or subcuticular tube with or without a basal. Funnel-like extension is usually found. So, they sense the sensory cells is located in the scallids, where locomotions happen. So predation, unfortunately for Kynorhynchus, are likely included in the diets of most large marine invertebrates such as shrimp, snails, and other benthic feeders. Locomotion. The first row of scalid is highlighted, playing a locomotory and sensorial role, as stated a while ago. sometimes carrying a variable number of eyes, whereas the remaining scallids are less innervated, combining secretory and sensorial functions. So this is the taxonomy. Kung ano yun ay, ayun na. So this is the taxonomy of phylum Kinorhyncha. Yeah. So in the book, it was only differentiated based on molecular data analysis of the nuclear genes. However, as I did my research, I found out that some of them has physical differences. And this is in Cyclorhagida, its segment 3 is composed of complete ring of cuticle. In Semoderidae, under order Kentrorhagata, segment 3 is divided into bivalve plates forming a clamshell-like closing apparatus which acts with placids to close off an inverted head. In Pinophidae, segment 3 is composed of one arched dorsal plate or tergite and three mobile ventral or sternal plates. And last, the Echinoderridae segment 4 is divided into one tergal and two sternal plates by mid-ventral and lateral articulations extending posteriorly from segment 4 through segment 13 in most other Kinorhynchas. So that ends my report. Thank you for listening.